It's here! I've been waiting to try out these markers from Arts. They are acrylic markers and there's 48 colors. I think today I'm going to be coloring in a page that I actually drew a while back from the sketchbook. I started this one November of 2024 and I finished it in January of this year. But I actually have this page that I've been wanting to do like a paint over using paint markers, so now's the time. All right, first things first is I am curious about the setup for these markers. So it looks like you do have to shake it to mix the ink, then press it several times, and then start marking it once the tip is inked. I've always wondered if you could shake multiple. Okay, I'm actually going to test a few swatches in this newer sketchbook that I have. So this one I finished a while ago, like I said, but I just started this new one and I have a sketchbook tour video for all of the sketchbooks that I did finish. This one I started a couple days ago. I'm already like a couple spreads in. Yeah, let's just try out some swatches in here. Okay, I'm gonna go with red just because red is my favorite color. So you press it a couple times. Whoa, the ink is coming out so quickly, actually. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm actually really surprised because sometimes if you know, you know, but paint markers, they take a while to activate, but this one was so fast. All right, let me try with this green. Whoa, look at the ink flow. That's so crazy. And it's a lot of ink too. You can see how juicy it is. Let me actually try to shake it a little bit less and see if that's still enough to activate it. Okay, yeah, I didn't shake this one too much, but look at that ink flow. That was so fast. Wow, okay, just purely based on setup, I approve. I really like these markers and it doesn't bleed through. Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just start to paint within this book. Hello, it is voiceover me. So actually, when I first was getting into sketchbooking, I did do a lot of swatches like this where I'm just making little circles and squares of the colors that I'm testing out naturally because I wanted to see the color of the markers. And I remember seeing artists have these swatches next to their illustrations or their drawings, whether it was digital or traditional. And now I finally understand that that is one way for artists to see the colors that they're working with, or just have like a summary of the colors that they're using. Although I don't know if that's how digital artists think, because you know, when you're working digital, you can just grab and color pick, but maybe I use swatches differently from everyone. But for me, when I make swatches, I'm testing out the colors, not using it as a way of being like, hey, these are the colors I made, this is like the color palette. It's definitely more testing for me. Anyways, I thought for this video it would be fun if we did a Q&A, except instead of questions for me, it's actually questions for you, because I've been getting a few comments here and there and I like responding to each one of them. I think it's cool that we have slowly begun to build a community within the comment section, which I think is really cool because I don't always get to chat with you guys. I think, for example, on Instagram, I have a few more comments and sometimes it's hard to keep up with, or sometimes it's just difficult for me to spend the time commenting back on everything. But for YouTube, I feel like it's a smaller space, it's a smaller group of people, and so it's a bit easier for me to respond to all the comments here. So I thought it would be cool if I could just ask you guys questions to learn more things about you guys, and yeah, just get in touch with my community here. This is just like another yap session, so So if you guys just want to draw along, maybe you can mute it or just put it on low volume. But for those who actually want to respond to the questions, please comment below. I'm actually very curious about you guys and the type of people that you are. So yeah, let's begin. So I think the first question I'm curious about is, are you guys artists or not artists? And if you are artists, what kind of art do you do? Do you do a variety, or are you a specific medium? And if you're not an artist, what is your occupation? I'm really curious about that because I think most of the people that find my videos on YouTube, it's via recommendations and it just pops up on your feed. And so I'm really curious, like, are the videos popping up because you're an artist, or is it just like you like to watch art videos? You know, yeah, I'm genuinely curious about that. Oh, a deeper question for the artist is, are you a digital or traditional artist? So personally for me, my journey starting out was traditional. I think a lot of, starting out, kids like to scribble on crayon, with crayon on paper, use markers. I think every kid starts out as an artist, and then growing up, it's the artists that never really grew out of drawing are the ones that stay quote unquote artists. But in the beginning, I think every kid, is somewhat interested in art. For me, I've always started out using pencil in a sketchbook, whether that was like using how to draw books or just like drawing from reference. I was super into painting. I did a lot of acrylic painting, and I think this was natural just because I would take like art lessons at school or like after school programs that my parents put me into because they knew I was interested in art. And so that was like a way for me to explore other types of art. I also got super into watercoloring. For me, I'm kind of frugal or like reserved about, maybe reserved is not the right word, but like I tend to use less of certain types of materials. So watercolor is actually quite easy for me to use because I don't use too much water. And because I don't use too much water, I have a lot more control with the paint that I'm using. I probably was using watercolor, like water crayons, watercolor pencils all throughout high school. I would say, yeah, middle school and high school, I used a lot of watercolor and acrylic. But then I do remember in middle school, I had neighbors that were in the animation industry, and they invited us over for dinner one time and showed us like their artwork and their comic selection and just like all of their, like industry/art things. And then they showed me their digital Wacom tablet, and that was my first time seeing a tablet or actually even understanding that, oh, you can use this thing instead of a mouse to draw. Because yeah, sometimes I would use my mouse to kind of scribble on Microsoft Paint, but they showed me this digital tablet, and so I asked my parents if I could get one, and I think they bought me like some janky brand tablet from Fry's Electronics and it was like the type of tablet that was very clunky. It was not flat. It had like, I don't know, round grooves around it, so it was very thick, and the pen itself didn't have any pressure sensitivity, so when I was drawing, everything would be the same line width. And so I remember I had another friend in middle school who had a Wacom tablet, and I asked them, how do your line strokes vary? Do you use an eraser to erase the lines so that you have thinner lines versus thicker lines? Because that's what I was doing. My tablet could not read pressure, and she was telling me, no, like actually it's built into the pen. And that blew my mind because I was like, oh my god, you're telling me for the last couple months I've been erasing my lines to achieve this texture? I did eventually upgrade to a bamboo Wacom tablet that did have pressure sensitivity, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness for that. Yeah, I don't really recommend the brand that I had previously, but I also don't remember what brand it was. It had a butterfly logo if anyone, I don't know, had one or recognized. But the programs that I did use was Paint Tool Sai, a little bit of Microsoft Paint, and a little bit of, pirated Adobe Photoshop. I also used Fire Alpaca because that was free. And I did a bit of digital drawing within high school, but yeah, it was definitely like mixed with a lot of watercoloring, pencil, painting. I did a bit of merch designing with my digital art, and I would say I probably enjoy doing traditional more just because it was something I was comfortable with, but I was trying to dabble more into digital, especially since I started making merch. I used my Bamboo tablet all the way throughout college as well. I actually wrote my first book during college, and when I finally got my job and had enough money on my own, I bought my first iPad, and that's when I started using Procreate. So for like 5+ years I was using the tablet, and then I switched over to the iPad, and this was so nice because then I don't have to bring like my entire laptop, the tablet, and like a charger. It's quite heavy, and now with the iPad I can actually travel with it quite lightly and just draw on the go. And I'm someone who can just draw like on the couch, in the car, just anywhere. So yeah, I did start doing traditional a lot in my childhood, did a lot of digital within my adulthood, but look at me now, I'm back into traditional. Another follow-up question I have for the artist is, what are your favorite things to draw? For me, growing up, it was a lot of animals. I played Neopets. I did draw a lot of people in grade school. I had OCs. I don't know if I can find them anymore, but I don't know, maybe if I look through childhood home, I can find some old OC drawings. I did do comics, and I had like these Fox original characters, which is, wow, what a circle, because now I draw Shiba Inus, which are basically like Fox designs. Into my adulthood, I stopped drawing people and I mostly did animals. Did a lot of Pokemon as well, a little bit of anime after that, and now I'm just back to drawing dogs, animals, mostly Shiba Inus. Okay, so next question is, do you guys have favorite YouTubers that you watch? Like, what kind of content do you guys watch? Because honestly, I used to never use YouTube, and I still don't really use YouTube. It wasn't until the pandemic, like 2020, when I started using YouTube more because, you know, we're locked at home and I have my computer in front of me. I start browsing, and most of the videos that I watched were like self-help or like skill videos, you know, like thinking about your life, planning your day, more tutorial videos. And then I did watch a bit of gaming stuff, and I watched a lot of offline TV streaming. There was a time when I was watching art vlogs, so that was an era. But then in the last couple years, I kind of stopped using YouTube, and now I mostly only use it to search for specific skills that I'm looking to learn or like tutorials that I need. So overall, I'm not really someone that browses YouTube just to watch YouTube. Like, I don't watch things when I eat, or like I'm not looking for a video. So I feel like I'm mostly on YouTube to chat with you guys or to post. But yeah, I'm not like a huge YouTube watcher. That is kind of applied to how I use social media as well. I don't really use social media. Ironically, I use it to post content, but I'm not really like a scroller or a browser. So I'm curious, do you guys have favorite apps that you're on? Is it YouTube, TikTok, Instagram? Is it something else that you just use to chat with people? For me, it's definitely like a business tool. So I go on to post and then I'm off and I draw and touch grass. Okay, my last question is, how did you guys find me? Was it the Tumblr days? Because I used to post art on Tumblr, and that's kind of how all of this started. Was I started posting on Tumblr, got a lot of traction because I was drawing Pokemon things. I also was posting on DeviantArt, so a lot of like original things, some people drawing, like a lot of commissions. I didn't start using Instagram until maybe high school, but then in high school I was mostly just posting, you know, like personal photos the way that any normal person would be using Instagram. But then after college, when I started working and I started thinking about, oh, like should I pick up making merch again, I started using Instagram to post my art instead of using DeviantArt. And so, yeah, I started posting more like business things on Instagram. During pandemic, like everyone and their mom, I was also using Twitch. I use Twitch a little bit these days just to watch friends, but like not too much. And then I also discovered Discord, and now I use Discord for everything. My community is on there. I use it to take notes and like save things. I still talk to friends on Discord as well. But for me, most of these days I'm on Instagram, and now I'm on YouTube, so that's fun. Well, those are all the brief questions that I had for you guys. I hope for anyone listening, if you are answering them, I would love to see in the comments what type of people you are, where you're from. You know, it's really nice to have this small space with you guys. Oh, by the way, the process for this drawing that I'm making, there really is no process. I'm basically just scribbling on top of it over and over with different colors until I feel like I'm happy with it. I think the last part is going over with some darker colors to really like sharpen out the lines, add some contour. But it's a new like painting style that I'm trying out. And then for the very last part, I add like a white outline just to really highlight my subjects and separate some of the background with the foreground. Ta-da! It's done! I'm pretty happy being this is like the first time that I've experimented painting in this way. I really look forward to exploring how else I can use paint markers. Overall, I do recommend this brand, and I do recommend their 48 color pack. In particular, I like this version with the more thicker nibs just because I felt like the ink flow was really nice. It didn't clog at all. It didn't leak at all. You can also see from the layering that it layers pretty nicely. Originally, I had pencil underneath, but you can't see the pencil anymore, so that was really nice. And I love that the colors are accurate to the caps themselves. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye!